Hey Glam Babes, and for today's video we're going to be doing a makeup tutorial. Period. I already did my face, but it's more so going to be an eyeshadow cut crease tutorial for the girls that were very much so interested, and it's going to be very detailed. Today I'm actually standing up because my studio chair is dirty. While I was like doing swatches and stuff, I got eyeshadow and stuff all over it, so I can sit down because I am well dressed right now. We are fully dressed and ready for the next video to come, period. So let's get started. I am going to go in with my LA Girl Pro Concealer. Ignore the nails, honey, because I cut them down, so don't worry about them. I'm going to go in with my LA Girl Pro, and today we're going to be using the eyeshadow palette from Makeup by Amanda, period. I'll put her information down below. So I'm taking the LA Girl Pro Concealer, white base, and I'm taking my eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to put it on my lid. I'm gonna put this hair behind here. I'm going to put it on my lid. I'm going to zoom in. I'm taking the concealer and putting it on top as a base. See, yeah, you guys can see, that's good. Ooh, it's a little bit challenging doing your makeup standing up. I think it's because everything is in like close together and everything, so try not to put too much product on the brush. As you can see, when you use too much product, it doesn't really, I don't want to say blend out well, because you can most definitely blend it, but it gets everywhere since LA Girl Pro Concealer is a very creamy base. Most definitely gets everywhere. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So even though this is a very detailed video, I won't be showing both eyes, because that just makes the video unnecessarily long, and we basically do the same thing on both sides. So usually when I go in, and I'm sorry it's going to be zoomed in, but I want you guys to get a full look and you're able to actually see. Usually when I'm doing eyeshadow, I start out with my lightest base. So I'm going to start out with that shade here, Voicemail. And I'm starting that off as my transition shades. So transition shades are basically the shades that you use in order when doing eyeshadow. So I'm taking that first shade and I'm putting it closest towards my brow. I really hope you guys can see, because the way this is set up right now is ridiculous. I'm putting it closest towards my brow, and this mirror really sucks because I can't find my handheld. And it's real bright in here. But I'm sorry y'all. I start by patting the eyeshadow on my lid. Okay, you start by patting the product where you want it to go. Once you have it on that area, you're gonna wanna stretch your eye. My eyes are a bit hooded, so stretching my eye out helps. And then you're gonna wanna blend. Some people find that continuously patting the product in helps more with blending. Well, not blending, but having the product more pigmented. But that's why you use a white base, for it to look the best, honestly. So you're just gonna, I blend in like circular motions, and I don't stay in one place. I actually move it around, so I'm dragging the product around, so I'm not over blending. Because when you tend to over blend a product, that's when the eyeshadow starts to fade, and we don't want that. So now I'm about to do the same thing to the other eye. I'm going to go in with Do Not Disturb. When doing your eyeshadows, if you are a beginner, make sure you are actually using different brushes. For me, I use the same brush, but if you are a beginner, please use separate brushes. And as you get ready to go closer into the crease, your brush should be smaller. So this brush should have like a more fine tip, or it should be smaller than the first brush that you use for the first transition color. So I'm about to go in with Do Not Disturb right under where my crease, like a little bit above where my crease starts. So my crease is here where this little flap is, right there. That's my crease. I'm gonna go above that. So I'm going above my crease and I'm gonna tap that product in. The reason for you to use a smaller brush is so you won't accidentally blend that product into the wrong spot. You want to make sure that that product is blended on the right part of the eye. So we're putting that product above the crease, and once it's pressed in, we're gonna blend it out. For blending out towards the crease, please make sure your brushes are stiff. They do not have any like flimsy ends, because this brush here I'm using, it's a bit flimsy. It is from Walmart, but it is a bit flimsy, and also it does say eye blending brush, but it's flimsy, and with trying to blend and be precise towards this crease, it's a little hard. So you're just gonna blend, and you're gonna blend back and forth. Try not to blend just in one area because you don't want all that product to come off. I really hope my positioning is good on camera. Well, looking from here, it looks good. The key to have your eyeshadow very organized, very neat, is to blend out. But that's why we don't stay in one area when blending, because then you'll take the product off. So for the next shade, we're gonna go in with Blocked. I believe that's what it says. We're gonna go with Blocked, and we're actually gonna put her into our cut crease. In cut crease part, make sure you are using a smaller brush than you use for that second transition color. Since I'm a bit more experienced, I'm gonna be using the same brush for all transition colors. But for your best blending technique, make sure your brush is smaller. So I'm going to stretch my eyes. It all depends on the way your eye is. Since mine is hooded, my crease is a tad bit more deeper. But we're gonna put that product into that crease right there. Now, when you're doing eyeshadow, I tend to always start with the light, then go in darker and darker. So it's like levels, kinda like a rainbow. You're gonna start with the lightest point, and then you're gonna go in and you're gonna go with your darkest. So with the third transition color, you tap it into your crease. Once you tap it in, you're gonna blend out the outwards, and then you're gonna actually bring that color down towards the outward side of your eye. So let's blend the top. When I'm blending outside, I tend to go in circles sometimes. And then if I feel like that's not blending enough, I'm just gonna go back and forth. But never stay in one spot and blend. So I'm going back and forth. And this is to make it all blend like seamlessly. When you're blending towards the eye, blend backward, do not blend forward. You do not want that product in the front unless you're not doing a cut crease. We're doing the cut crease today though, so do not blend that product to the front. And yes, you're probably thinking like, oh, but we're gonna use concealer to clean it up. Even though we're gonna use the concealer to clean it up, you still want it all to blend well and blend flawlessly. So now you guys see, hopefully you guys can see correctly, but now you see how it's all blended well. It all goes together. The colors are one, they're all in unison. I can't talk very well. So now I'm gonna take Blocked, and I'm actually gonna put a little product here, the outwards of my eye, and then I'm gonna bring it closer towards the center. I have a bit lash glue already on my eye from swatches, so y'all ignore that. We just gonna put a liner on top anyways and more glue. Okay, now that that's done, if you feel like your eyeshadow is a little bit edgy, just go around and go in circles. You want that to blend out very well. Nice, that looks good. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm actually going to do the other side. Now we're gonna go in with the good part, the part that's the most tedious. It takes time and everything. So I'm actually going to be using this brush. It's from that $15.99 brush kit from Walmart. It's my most flattest brush I have. You can also use a paintbrush. Paintbrushes work great with cut creases, but this one is called a point brush. It's from Walmart. It is in the 8-piece kit, and I'm going to use that same LA Girl Pro Concealer in the white to cut our crease, because we're going to use a very light shade and we're going to do like an ombre effect with our cut crease. So I'm actually putting the product only on top of the point brush. As you can see, it's not going to go in the middle, it's not going to go at the bottom, just at the top. We want majority of the product at the top of the brush, so when you go in and you cut your crease, you're not putting, like, you're not being messy, you're not putting any concealer on any other parts. So when cutting your crease is very tedious. 1, you're gonna have to close your eye. 2, you're gonna have to figure out where your crease is. So you see my crease is here. I have hooded eyes, so I wanna go above my crease. I actually want to go here. So you see where that flap is, where I'm stretching my eye? That's where I wanna go. I wanna go on top there, and sometimes I go a little bit over because I have hooded eyes. So I always start in the corner, and then I start here and I just tap the product on, then I drag it down. I'm gonna start here. And then I'm gonna start here. And that's gonna give me the opportunity to actually drag and connect the two. So I'm not going very willy-nilly. If you suck at figuring out where your crease is, please put the concealer at the bottom of your eye and then look up. That helps as well. Sometimes you will have to go over your crease though. So if you do not have a steady hand, the best way to do this is to tap the brush slowly where you want the concealer to go. Now this is why we put that concealer on the tip of the brush, because if it was on the rest of the brush, it would get everywhere. No, we would not have it outside of our crease, but it would just be way too much product that we do not need at the moment. So you're just gonna go ahead and outline by patting that product where you want it, and then you're gonna drag the rest down. Now you see, I don't even need any more product, but we're gonna clean up now. So now to clean up, we're just gonna slightly drag that outline.
Where is John?
Just slightly. There we go. And we don't wanna mess up. And boom, we have a cut crease. Well, this is a half cut crease, which is what I usually only do, but that's how we get it. With half cut creases, I always take the end part and blend it out, because you don't want it to be very cakey, very smudged, and you don't want it to be a harsh line on your eye, because then when you go in with your darker shade on top of it, you don't want it to show. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side and then come back. Alrighty, so now that our cut creases are done, we are actually gonna go in with our palette again. Now we could stop here if we wanted to, but that's not what I wanna do. So I'm gonna take that same brush. You know, you guys, I said I was gonna use the same brush. When you are doing your eyeshadow, make sure you're using a different brush. You want to use a flat type of brush. I'm gonna show you for a second. For your eyeshadow bases, you're gonna wanna use a brush like this. Sorry y'all, this brush is dirty, it's been used. It's a Shop Miss A AOA Studio brush. That's the E something, yeah. But this is the brush you wanna use to apply your eyeshadow. It's to help you have more precision with your colors. So I'm actually gonna go in with that color blocked again, and I'm going to blend out those little harsh lines back there at the end of our crease. Period. For this part, you can also use an eyeshadow brush as well. And then I'm gonna go in with the shade Please Me. I'm gonna put that towards the center. The base part is usually the easiest as long as you know how to stay in the lines. If you can stay in your lines, then you'll be able to do it. Because you don't want to go outside of that crease line you created. Another trick, if you usually have like a lot of fallout, you're gonna wanna tap your brush out like this to get the rest of the eyeshadow product out. This palette doesn't have a lot of fallout, so I don't have that issue much, but just make sure you tap your brush if your palette does have a lot of fallout and your product tends to get everywhere. Let's go in with the shade Over It. Period on top, so go on top of this white base because we want the white base to be solid, matte, flawless looking. For the inner corner of your eye, you're gonna wanna use a brush with a finer tip. That way you're not getting that extra eyeshadow everywhere. And you're gonna wanna take that white and make sure it blends in with that second shade that you put on your lid. So these are our eyes, period. I'm gonna add lashes and then I'm going to show you guys the final look. So the lashes I'm gonna use are actually from my brand Mirrored Sublimity, period. Ignore the pink on top. I had a pink liner from a previous look and I haven't cleaned my lashes off. I'm gonna clean them off, but I'm going to be wearing my Mirrored Sublimity lashes, period. They'll be dropping soon. Make sure you guys stay tuned for all the vlogs and everything else prepared for my business launch. Okay, Glam Babes, this is the final look. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love it. I think it's giving. I think it's very cute with the fall hair. Oh, and by the way, hair from Anna Teague, period, poo. If you guys liked it, leave me a like. If you guys want more tutorials, or if there's something that I missed out about eyeshadow, let me know. Drop below in the comments. Bye, Glam Babes.